That's just something that's kind of up in the air right now, but we definitely need to do that if they'll grant approval.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on this resolution? Okay, so it's been presented for the board to act on a resolution approving the revised payment standards for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. This is resolution number 41. And at this point in time, entertain any motions on this resolution.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2021-41.
Okay, all right. Commissioner Bolton made a motion. Commissioner Fountain seconded. Any further discussions on this resolution? All right, hearing none, call the question. All those in favor of approving the revised payment standards for the Housing Choice Voucher Resolution 2021-41, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you. My second item is a request for approval of revisions to the administrative plan for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. HHA is required to adopt an admin plan for the HCV program for staff to follow in determining eligibility and continued participation in the program. This plan must be revised as needed for compliance, and these policies do require board approval. July 1st of this year, we entered into an MOU with the Continuum of Care to administer 110 emergency housing vouchers. The policy attached to your RBA is the language for our admin plan revision for the emergency housing voucher program. Turquesa thankfully has graciously taken the lead on this program, and we hope to start taking referrals on or before December 1st. So with your approval, this is resolution 2021-41. Even though the resolution actually says 2020-41, it's 2021.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Again, we have a resolution that's been presented and the request for the board to act on the resolution approving revision to the administrative plan for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, resolution 2021-42. Willing to entertain any motions on this?
I'll move for approval. I'll second. Can you hear me, Dr. Smith? Did we lose it? I think we lost the chairman.
Okay, I'm here. So I think Commissioner Sullivan, you moved, and Commissioner Fountain seconded.
Yes, sir.
And all right, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Any further discussions on this resolution? All right, hearing now, we're going to call the question. All those in favor for the board to act on the resolution approving revisions to the administrative plan for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, please say aye. All right. Anyone opposed to the motion? Hearing none, all those we already did. Hearing none, the resolution passes. Resolution 2021-42. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Paula. Definitely appreciate the report. At this time, I'm going to share a few things, and then we have a few of our staff members that are going to present. Just kind of give us some updates as we had our meetings with all the board members. A suggestion came up to make sure that we stay in line on our strategic plan and give some updates on how we're doing that. Today, we're going to be really talking about how we're moving families to a level of self-sufficiency. So you'll hear from our Section 8 family self-sufficiency coordinators in a few minutes, and hopefully we can get our home ownership coordinator online. I don't see him right now, but hopefully he'll be able to log in. And if not, I'll just kind of share his report for you. I wanted to give you an update on a couple of things. On December the 13th, I've actually heard from Ashley Jones that we're trying to close the week of the 13th on the Pollard Circle property. And I'll keep everybody in the loop and see exactly how that goes. We also have been in communication with the Michaels group, the group that has been awarded the contract for the Sparkman Homes property. And there was a couple of just kind of disconnects. We got on the phone this morning, and they're going to be sending over to us an MDA, a sample MDA that we can look over so that we'll be able to go into negotiation with them on the redevelopment of the Sparkman Homes property. And so I'm excited about those two things kind of being in motion, especially as we start the new year off. We're also having communications. I just left a meeting with all of our partners over at the Calvary Hill Center for the Envision Center. One of the things that we're doing is putting motion in play so that at the beginning of the year, we'll have centers in every one of our neighborhoods that residents can walk to. And if they can't walk to those centers, they'll be able to get transportation through our resident services. This is just another one of those areas that we're really trying to focus on helping families become self-sufficient. I think it's going to be important for us as a housing authority, as an agency, to really wrap our arms around the population of people that we serve, which most times that's 30% or below of the area median income. I'm actually a part of the Housing Solution Workshop with a few members of the city of Huntsville, Dennis Madsen, Scott Irwin, a few of the nonprofit organizations, and we're coming up with a housing solution plan that we'll be able to submit and hopefully use this as a blueprint to address the needs. And everybody seems to agree that we really need to focus on that 30% and below, because a lot of times we don't necessarily have a plan for that population. So hopefully in the near future, we'll come up with a plan and we'll be able to present something not only to the board, to our staff, but to the city as a whole. I'm really excited about us actually putting something in place that will address the needs of that particular population. Our town hall meetings have been going extremely well. I apologize for the mix-up last week with the time change. We have a couple of town hall meetings that will be taking place this week. I think they are both on the same day, the 18th. One is going to be at 1 o'clock, and the other one will be at 3 o'clock. One at 1 o'clock is for the residents at Brookside. The one at 3 o'clock is for the residents over in Johnson Towers. We're also trying to put together something that the Legacy Center is trying to provide Thanksgiving dinner for the residents over at Johnson Towers. And they're going to prepare their meals, have them ready, and deliver them door to door with their volunteers. So just excited about those kind of partnerships that are taking place where people are looking out for our residents, looking out for the individuals that we serve. So I'm excited about that. Also wanted to give you all an update on the basketball tournament. Every year there's a basketball tournament that takes place throughout the state during the Martin Luther King holiday weekend. We're partnering with Resident Services, the Boys and Girls Club, to take two teams to represent Huntsville in the state basketball tournament. I mean, that was really a hard sell for me to get a basketball team up to represent the state. But after they twisted my arm a few times, I was able to buy in. So I'm excited to partner with those groups as well. At this time, I wanted to also just kind of let you all know we're entertaining the sale of our Mahogany Row apartments. We ran into some difficulties when we went in to try to rehab, and it ended up being that those apartments, the rehab was going to cost a lot more than we think they're worth. And we have a few individuals, we have a company that is actually interested in buying those units. Once we can really narrow down a solid sale price, we will then come to the board to get approval and to have discussion on what we need to do as we move forward. Also, I'm going to turn it over. I don't see, is Paula still on? I'm not sure who you have for FSS, who is going to talk about the Family Self-Sufficiency Program in Section 8.
That'd be Carnisha.
Is Carmisha on?
She's coming in here. She's having technical difficulties. Here she is.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? It's on you.
Okay. I had my participant to write in her own words her success, so I'm going to read it for you. Okay? And we're just going to call her LC. She said, when I started the Section 8 program, I was single. I was a single mother of 4 who was barely making it. I was living in poverty, and I had just went from being homeless to living in the project. I was unable to afford shoes and clothes for my children. I was scared to drive. I couldn't manage money. I barely could keep a job because daycare was killing me. I have a child with autism and ADHD who needed to be in a better school district so she could get the time and attention she needed to succeed. With the help of the Section 8, I was able to get out of the project. I was able to raise my kids without worrying about what would happen if I lose my job, or what happens if I can't afford daycare, or what happens if I don't make enough money to pay my rent. I was able to work and raise my children knowing I had someone who had my back. Section 8 helped pay a portion of my rent, but still allowed me to move to areas with the school districts that allowed my children to win, while also allowing us to feel safe. With the FSS program, I was able to set goals with my wonderful caseworker, Mrs. Danson, and that allowed me to achieve self-sufficiency, but also motivated me to do things that I didn't think I could do. I accomplished getting my GED 6 months ago, setting my goals, got my license, I fixed my credit, and went from working jobs making $10 to $12 an hour to making over $22 an hour. Now I'm able to be the mother I've always wanted to be. These programs saved my life. They put me in a situation that allowed me and my family to win. I am thankful for my caseworker who was always on me, motivating me to do better, letting me know there's nothing I can't do. This was a blessing for me, and now my spot is meant to bless someone else. So she is graduating this month. She will receive close to $12,000 in escrow. So, yeah, she just got her GED 6 months ago, but she was doing well even without it. But I did encourage her to try and receive it and get it, and she did. So come June, she just informed me a few hours ago, she would get a raise, and she would be receiving over $26 an hour come June. So that's all I have for you today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. How many people do you have in your caseload?
I have 120 on my caseload. How many FSS?
FSS, yeah.
51.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And one of the things that we talked about as we really try to put a plan together to help our families become self-sufficient is to use the programs like FSS where we have participants who actually volunteer to be in that program, so we can push them, we can hold them a little more accountable for what they are aspiring to do. And this next story, I'm going to have our home ownership coordinator come on and just kind of talk about something that's exciting that I don't think has happened in a very long time at the Housing Authority through this program. So I'll let Quinn just kind of share what happened with him and how we're moving the home ownership program to the next level.
Hey, how you guys doing? Good afternoon.
So we just we've really been pushing the HCB home ownership program. So essentially it's the Section 8 home ownership where they can take their voucher and transition it over into a mortgage. So just by we would pay a piece of your rent, we would pay a piece of your mortgage, basically for a home. You have to be able to qualify for the mortgage on your own, but depending on the financing, we essentially kind of add a little bit more income to you, and then the banks are a little bit more likely to give you more bang for your buck as far as the house, and then you're able to afford it. If you're elderly or disabled, we are able to pay for the life of the loan for a 30-year loan, and if you are not elderly or disabled, it's for 15 years of a 30-year loan. So we just had a client transition into home ownership, I believe last week. She was able to purchase a home, $250,000 home in Newmarket. Thanks to our program, we worked with Renaissance Bank to get that deal done, and it's also a partnership between home ownership and really Section 8 and FSS, because as of right now, they have to be participants in FSS to be able to participate in the program.
Well, thank you, Quentin. We appreciate that. And looking forward to a lot more of those stories here in the near future. He's really been just beating the doors down, just really trying to get to people who are in a position to help themselves. And, you know, when we have these town halls and we're able to talk about programs like this, it really creates a spark in our residents' eyes. And they think, man, that could be me. I can remember last week at the town hall in Searcy, I'm sure he had several individuals who said, you know, I'm tired of all the rules that the housing authority has, so I'm gonna go out and get my own house. And I'm like, well, that's good. We hope you can do that, and we're gonna help you get that home of your dreams. So I'm excited about the FSS program and all the programs that we have here that's really gonna help mobilize our residents. We've been in partnership and discussion with Toyota Mazda here lately, and they have over 1,200 jobs that they're trying to fill. And the residents who are in our FSS program could really be candidates for these jobs, again, because they are the ones who are trying to continue to get that income level up. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about us really being able to take residents to a new level. And that's all I had to share. If y'all have any questions, please let me know.
So anyway, those are great reports, and I appreciate you sharing those. It really rounds out a board meeting. You know, no offense to Teresa, but it's not all numbers. You know, it's impacting real families, and so it's good to hear those stories. Tony, on the mahogany, you said mahogany homes, apartments. We're getting
Mahogany roll.
Yeah, that's it. How many units are there? And I guess we'll get an appraisal, right, for potential sale.
Yeah, it's 12 units. We actually have 16 out there, and we're actually at the deal is for the 12. And you know, Mike, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you were really working with that those 3 units. You want to talk about the amount of money that we had already put in and the cost that it was going to take for us to get those back up?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, all. It is the 12 units that we started to rehab, 3 buildings, and we had anticipated, we had a construction cost estimate of about $350,000, maybe a little less than that. And when we got in there and did the demo portion of that project, we discovered a lot of issues that we couldn't see prior to the demolition a lot of mold issues and a lot of rot that we were going to have to deal with. So that pushed our cost estimate to well north of $500,000, and at that point we weren't going to be able to continue under that contract. So the decision had to be made: do we go ahead and try to put the money into these units to make them livable again, or do we do something else? So that's where we're at. It'll probably take another $500,000 on those units just to get them up to a leasable condition, and that would be somewhat south of really market rate, but just rentable condition. This particular company, I don't know if Mr. McGinnis mentioned before, they have been interested in the property for quite some time now, even prior to our rehab on them. And so it looks like that maybe we could make a deal, and it probably would be in our best interest to get rid of those and put that money into other units that would help us much more. It not only the cost of the rehab, but those units are way down, kind of on an island, so to speak, down there in South Huntsville. It's quite a distance compared to the others for us to send maintenance staff and to conduct maintenance activities there. So there's plenty of pluses to getting rid of them as opposed to keeping them. So that's where we're at.
And in addition to that, the individuals who we're talking to, they are willing to put them on Section 8, put those units back into the program on Section 8. So they will incur that cost, and then we'll be able to utilize those as Section 8 units.
You said it's hard to get down there to maintain those units, and you said we're going to keep some units, like 3 or 4 units. It might make sense to look at trying to sell them those too, opposed to keeping just a few units down there.
Yeah, we had discussed that in our meeting. Actually, Teresa had brought that up last time we met. I mean, the one that's really in good condition, it would be a plus for them to have that one, because they don't have to do much to that one. And so we hadn't gone back to them with that yet, but that's going to be a part of the conversation that we have with them.
My assumption will be that we're not going to, I guess, list these publicly, because this group may put them back on Section 8 for us. I guess the only reason I asked that was I'm thinking, why just list and take the highest bidder if we're going to sell them? But it sounds like this company is interested in working with the housing authority, which means in turn allowing us to place some of our voucher holders within the dwelling.
Yeah, and that's what we're actually going to write that in the contract, so that they will be able to do that when they buy the units.
And Tony, so when you say write that into the contract, what is that part that you're trying to write into the contract?
That they will utilize these units as Section 8 affordable housing units.
Okay, all right. So you're saying, because at some point you said they're willing to. So what we're saying here is that
that was a part of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that was a part of the deal when they first approached us, is that because we're already having a hard time finding units. One of the things they said that they would do is put those back on Section 8.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good.
And Dale, that's all I had. I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, it sounds like some movement there. And at this point in time, we don't have any open comment requests, do we, Neil? Public?
No, you do not.
Okay. All right. So no open comments requests. At this point in time, we'll go around and see if any commissioners have any comments they want to relay.
The only thing I would have is in regards to the payment thing that we're about to prove, where the payments are going up in January. 35810, which is North Huntsville, and 35758, which is Madison, are real close to each other in reference to, I guess, dollar amount available for specific home sizes, 3, 4. If I don't know if anyone can answer that now. Well, actually, I don't even want you to. Is there any way we can look at? Because I guess in summary, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to think that I could live in North Huntsville for the same price that I can live in Madison, because it's starkly different in reference to rental prices, but it looks as though the dollar amount that we have listed on here are real close for those two zip codes. 35810 and 35758 is not the same. That's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Sullivan, you don't want any response to that? Just want to relay it?
I'll reach out in an email and explain that a little more detail to them.
Okay.
No,
all right.
I just want to know that, let everybody know that would be a concern of mine. No response.
Okay.
And I'd like to just kind of piggyback on that though, Commissioner Sullivan. That area that you're referring to is a very high rent area. And if you go down Wall Triana, you'll see why you're able to get that price for that amount. It's pretty much all affordable housing on that street, in that area.
All right. Commissioner, I think Commissioner Willie joined us. I'm not sure if she's able to speak or not, but I also want to give her a chance to provide any feedback or comments. Commissioner Willie?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am sorry for my delay. I just landed. I was going to add something similar to Delvin about the rent prices, but thank you for answering that, Tony. I think I don't have anything else. I was going to ask something similar to that with the different rent rates and everything.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. We see there's some topic around that particular item. Commissioner Fountain, any comments, feedback to provide before we close?
No, I didn't have anything additional. Thank you.
Commissioner Bolton?
Thanks. I know some of you have been in the armed forces before, so I just want to thank you. Last week was Veterans Week, and thank you very much for your service. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, going forward. And stay away, too much pie is not good, so it's my only warning. And then, Mr. Chairman, I guess at some point we need to talk about if we're going to go back to meeting in person. A lot of the board meetings are back to person again, so that's something we can decide either now or later. But anyway, thanks everybody.
Yeah, Commissioner Bolton, I think if the other commissioners are okay with it, we will plan for our January board meeting for the 2022 to be in person. I know there's an element of convenience here for all of us in terms of being online, but also know that we lose something when we're not face to face as well too. And we clearly want to give our residents in the community the opportunity to jump in and provide feedback and be part of the meetings as well too. So we can plan on that unless there's any objections. Now we do have a board meeting for December already scheduled. Is that correct? Okay, and so we'll maintain that one being virtual, particularly with the holidays. that might be something that we look at for next year, even with the face-to-face, and think about December as being virtual anyway. But we'll take 1 month at a time here and plan for it be virtual next month, and then January be face-to-face. I don't have any other comments other than just to reiterate what Commissioner Bolte said. Thanksgiving holidays, we all work hard. We're all doing great work. Hopefully we get a chance to spend time with family. And while we continue to have to work and do what we do, we get a little time off to really decompress and re-energize so we can lead into the new year with this important work that we're doing. But nothing else from me. Appreciate the commissioners and their input. And if there's nothing else to be said, we will officially call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.